the Memphis Tigers take on the Cincinnati Bearcats. Second time in 8 days that these teams have played against one another. Memphis knocked off Cincinnati last week on this very field, 34-24. Cincinnati will start an offense. Memphis won the toss and elected to defer. So Riley Patterson will kick it deep to Trey Tucker and Ryan Montgomery. And an onside kick to start the game. The ball is loose and recovered by Memphis. It's Calvin Austin that falls on it. There is a penalty marker down. Did he touch it prior to it going 10 yards?
Interference with the opportunity to make a catch, kicking team. Number 84, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So Cincinnati signaled for a fair catch, but the man that recovered the onside kick for Memphis, Calvin Austin, interfered. So it'll be Cincinnati ball at the 30-yard line of Memphis.
Yeah, and you watch this perfectly struck onside kick, but if you look at the right side of the screen, the Cincinnati player, Justin Harris, I believe, or Geddes, excuse me, Thomas Geddes, signaling for that fair catch and trying to go and make the catch. And man, that's a bang play. Difficult call for the official to make.
So great starting field position for the Bearcats on the Memphis 30-yard line. Desmond Ridder starting at quarterback after missing last week's game due to injury. And he's going to throw on first down and dumps it off to his tight end DeGuara, who's close to a first down at the 20-yard line. So Ridder, because of an injury to his throwing shoulder, missed the game last week. He had started 23 consecutive games prior to that.
He's a great athlete. His ability to create with his legs is his best attribute. Had not been very efficient as a thrower the last few weeks because of that shoulder injury. But he gets off to a nice start by throwing an easy completion to DeGuara early.
Little trickery here with Ridder leaving the backfield, so it's going to be a direct snap to Michael Warren, the running back, on first down. And he is down to about the 15-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play.
Desmond Ridder obviously so important to this offense, and they missed him last week, especially early. Ben Bryant did kind of get comfortable as the game went along, but made some critical errors down the stretch that allowed Memphis to secure the victory. So I know Bearcat fans are thrilled to see number 9 back under center.
In trouble, Ridder, able to get out of there, and he throws it out of the back of the end zone, incomplete. And Warren is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up fourth down. So Sam Crosa on for a field goal try. He has struggled this year, missing 5 times in 17 attempts. And the kick is good. So Cincinnati gets 3 points out of this, but wait, there's a penalty marker down.
Running into the kicker, defense number 7. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So how about that? Cincinnati, thanks to 2 mistakes now by Memphis, penalties by the Tigers, including this one here.
And you see Clay Brooks go in there And clearly that is a running into the kicker. Good job by the officials. Claybrooks needs to be more mindful of his proximity to the kicker's leg as he goes for the layout. Bad mistake there from Memphis after their defense got off the field after a tough start to the ball game.
So now it is 1st and goal for Cincinnati. And again, Ritter leaving the backfield. This will be a direct snap to Michael Warren, the running back. And Warren is inside the 6-yard line and then spilled there. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 6.
You look at Michael Warren. He's the workhorse. He's done such a great job throughout the course of the season. Very physical runner, very savvy runner. Not elite top-end speed, but has plenty of it. He is certainly the focal point of this run-centric attack.
On 2nd and goal, Warren again, and touchdown Cincinnati. So Michael Warren with his 13th touchdown of the season as the Bearcats make the Tigers pay for some early mistakes at home. Sam Crosa on for the point after. Great start for the road team, Cincinnati. Memphis took the opening kickoff last week for a touchdown. They won the toss here today, but deferred. Obviously, they were setting up the onside kick. It failed, and Cincinnati gets into the end zone. And here is Gibson, the special teams player of the year in the American. And he's bottled up at the 25-yard line. So we mentioned last week, opening kickoff touchdown, it was Chris Claybrooks going 94 yards. Remember, these teams just played 8 days ago here in the stadium. It was 17-3 Memphis, but Cincinnati came back to tie the game with this Michael Warren touchdown. But in the 4th quarter, big plays through the air to Coxie, 46 yards, and then Gibson a 29-yard touchdown run, and Memphis wins it by 10. We welcome those of you that just watched an incredible finish in the Big 12 championship with Oklahoma not only winning that game, but possibly securing a spot in the college football playoff pending the outcomes of obviously the other championship games. A lot going on here as Gibson has passed the 30 and gets a first down. Memphis won the opening toss. A failed onside kick attempt by Memphis, but then they held Cincinnati to a field goal. But they ran into the kicker. That gave Cincinnati a fresh set of downs, and the Bearcats got a touchdown. Here's Brady White, and the 23-year-old quarterback dumps it off to DeMonte Coxie, his favorite target, closing in on 1,000 yards as he gets 12 on that play.
Brady White, the quarterback for Memphis, great understanding of this offense, and it's a very cerebral player and accurate on the RPO game.
8th in the country in touchdown passes. Going to hand it off to Gainwell, who breaks a tackle. And Kenny Gainwell, the rookie of the year in the American, gets about 13 yards on that play. 11th in the country in rushing yards, just under 1,400 now for the season.
And Kenneth Gainwell so explosive, not just in the run game, but in the pass game. He'll get out in the route tree, and he's so electric with the ball in his hands.
Good response by Memphis so far. White with a half roll and a pitch and catch with Coxie. Gain of about 8 on the play to the 31-yard line. These teams met 8 days ago on this field. Memphis beat Cincinnati by 10 to wrap up the division for the 3rd straight year. This is the first time that Cincinnati's been in the American Championship game as Gainwell gets a first down inside the 25. The winner of this game has a great chance of going to the Cotton Bowl as the highest ranked Group of 5 champion. from the 13-yard line. Draw play here. And a good job at the point of attack by Brian Wright. May have injured himself in making the tackle, but Wright, who's a first-team American Conference linebacker, with a tackle on Taylor at the line of scrimmage.
And he looks the part, man. I mean, 6'3", 240 pounds. The Memphis coaches said, hey, when we went on the field, we took a peek at number 11. We said, my goodness, he's a good-looking football player.
2nd down and 8. Pass play here. White still on the move. Now fires to the back of the end zone. A one-handed attempt by Magnifico, but he couldn't come up with it. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Memphis.
It was a good effort here on the scramble drill opportunity by White. When you're throwing it in the end zone, high is not a problem, because if it's over the receiver's head, no problem. Incomplete, piece of cake. You're gonna miss high. That was a good job of trying to make something out of nothing and almost reeling it in.
On 3rd down and 8, White from the pocket has to step up. Lobs it. It's caught by Taylor, but out of bounds. Let's see if it bounced. It's incomplete. 4th down and 8, and Memphis will send on the field goal team.
And you'll see this bounce. Tried to reel it in with one hand. It was actually a pretty good throw there by Brady White over the top of the defender. But unfortunately, Taylor was unable to reel it in. A good job by Cincinnati's defense holding in the red zone.
So Riley Patterson, first-team all-conference kicker. Only missed twice this year. 29-yard try. And he puts it through. Memphis is on the board. It's 7-3 Cincinnati. No doubt. Welcome back to the American Athletic Conference Football Championship. This is part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Winner of this game has a great chance of going to the Cotton Bowl. Memphis ranked 17th. Boise State is 19th ahead of Cincinnati, so we'll see if the Bearcats were to win this game and if Boise State routs Hawaii in the Mountain West Championship, who gets in. Obviously, if Memphis wins this game, and the Tigers, you would imagine, would be the team that represents the group of 5. And a New Year's 6 game is the highest ranked group of 5 champ. Patterson's kick through the end zone for a touchback. So there's a lot going on here. These teams playing for the 2nd time in 8 days. Ritter's pass, and intended for Pierce. Be 2nd down and 10. Pierce, their leading receiver.
We haven't seen much so far from Ritter in the passing game. A couple short throws. That was really the first one that would challenge that injured right shoulder. A little bit off the mark there, throwing the out route to his left. We'll continue to monitor that and see if that injury does in fact affect his accuracy.
He did not start in this game a week ago. As he dumps it off here to Jackson, a short gain, going to bring up 3rd and long. He injured his throwing shoulder against USF, started 23 consecutive games, kind of fought through that game and the game after that as well, but did not go last week. Faced with a 3rd and 8 here.
And on 3rd down, they're always trying to find their talented tight end. Josiah DeGuara, here he is, lined up at number 3, potentially working against man coverage.
Ritter finds DeGuara, and it is a 1st down. DeGuara, who's going to play in the Senior Bowl, one of the top tight ends in college football, picks up 13 and moves the chains.
And you're just going to see a nice little out route that's off of a slight delay. Watch DeGuara, nice and easy, running away from the inside leverage of that defender.
Cincinnati in Memphis territory. Ritter, long pass deflected and incomplete, almost picked off by Francis. It was intended for Rashad Medeiros.
Really fortunate here. See the ball get tipped, and sometimes when those defenders are chasing, that tipped ball can easily result in an interception heading the other way. Right there, Francis almost there, but the ball comes up just short. Fortunate break there for Cincinnati.
Play action pass. Ritter looking deep, taking a shot for Tucker. Can't adjust. Well, overthrown with Claybrooks in coverage. Tucker trying to adjust to the ball. Third down.
A lot of air under this football. Just drifts a little bit outside. As you see, Tucker was trying to work to that hash. The ball was thrown wide, so he had to move on it. It's a missed opportunity there from Desmond Ritter.
On 3rd and 10, stepping up and sacked. Austin Hall was there first for Memphis.
Just all-out pressure from Memphis. Every gap accounted for, they squeeze it, and as a result, number 41 on the outside is unblocked. Ritter does a good job of avoiding the rush early. But as he moves up in the pocket, he runs into a lot of blue jerseys. It's a good job on the blitz there from Memphis.
James Smith punting it to Travion Samuel, who gets out of the way. The Bearcats are down there, and they will touch it as it rolls to a halt at the 2-yard line. Terrific punt by Smith. 7-3 Bearcats. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville in Memphis for the American Championship. 7-3 Cincinnati leads Memphis. And the Tigers backed up after a great punt. Brady White rolling out from his end zone, and his pass is caught out at the 8-yard line by Coxie, wrestled to the ground by Jarrell White, and a gain of about 5.
So far, Memphis has done a pretty good job of adjusting the launch point for Brady White, getting him out, getting him on the move, knowing that there's some disruptive guys up front for Cincinnati. Being able to move the pocket's important.
Memphis 11 wins on the season, a school record in the championship game for the 3rd straight year. And a draw play. And again, Cincinnati does a pretty good job defensively against that play. Not much for Gainwell, maybe a yard. So it's going to bring up 3rd down. Marcus Brown made the tackle along with Brian Wright.
Critical 3rd down here when you're backed up. The most important aspect is to get 1 first down so you're not punting out of your own end zone. So this is a critical down and distance as you see overload quad receivers to the left for Brady White.
That was a look at Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, as White's pass down the field is knocked away, incomplete. Gibson, the intended receiver, Arquan Bush in coverage with a nice play to force a punt.
And really surprised here. If you look at the route on the outside, it's all you need for the first down. They're working against Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant falls down. Brady White doesn't even look into the flats. Instead, he tries to work one-on-one downfield against good coverage. If he just starts low and works that flat, they have 1st and 10 at around the 15.
Adam Williams just got it away, and a flag is down. A lot of contact on the return. They're in the Memphis territory, but let's see if this was roughing the punter. Kope Garodsky with
running into the kicker. Defense number 30. A 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
We saw a similar penalty called on Memphis that took points off the board for Cincinnati but led to a touchdown. Now, if he would have gotten a piece of that ball, you can make contact with the kicker, but did not look like he did, right?
Doesn't look like he did. And the reaction didn't make you think that he got a piece of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, had he might have grabbed his finger or looked over at the referee, but body language would tell you that he didn't get a piece.
Handoff here to Taylor on 1st down, dragged down at the 32. Gain of about 7.
Greg, you know, you were talking about Brady, White, and this offense, and MIke Norvell changing the launch point as we see some tempo here. I was standing next to MIke Norvell as he visited with Brady White on the previous series in the red zone. He said, go ahead and run the football if there's nothing in front of you. There's a lot of green grass for your legs.
And a first down for Taylor out to the 35-yard line. Really running the ball well against this Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, and this is really tough. You see the pullers, the left guard and Joey Magnifico at tight end pulling around with a lot of bodies out in front. You see Magnifico, number 86, getting a good piece of Derek Forrest, the safety.
Already 55 rushing yards for Memphis, and now White throwing the ball deep and out of bounds. Going for Coxie, well covered by true freshman Ahmad Gardner. So White is a junior. He is from Santa Clarita, California. He was number 79 overall in the 2015 ESPN 300. He graduated from Arizona State 2 years ago, then transferred to Memphis. He's 23 years old. He started every game since last season, a record of 19-7. He does have one more year left of eligibility. 8th in the country in touchdown passes. 32, including 2 last week in the win against the Bearcats. Got Antonio Gibson in the backfield. Versatile player. And they're going to give it to Gibson, who had a rushing touchdown last week and gets to the outside here, past midfield, and he might go inside the 30. He takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. 65 yards. He had a 29-yard rushing touchdown last week and now goes for 65. His 4th rushing touchdown. He also has 7 receiving touchdowns and a kick return for a score this year. And Memphis has the lead.
Well, if you look at last week, Antonio Gibson was the difference, providing some big-time plays as a versatile weapon, both at receiver and at running back. He's walking with his feet 10 feet off of Beal as they take the lead.
So a wild first quarter. You have a penalty against Memphis that leads to a Cincinnati touchdown. The special teams penalty running into the kicker. Then Cincinnati runs into the kicker. Memphis punted the ball. Cincinnati was going to have it in Memphis territory, but because of the penalty, it leads to a Memphis first down, and then the Tigers go 65 yards on the ground for a score and take a 10-7 lead. From the 5-yard line, here's Tucker, and he gets drilled at the 20. Now a pass play over the head of the tight end, LaBelle. He couldn't come up with it. He had Clay Brooks in trouble after that long delay of play action by Desmond Ritter.
And Gibson is such a handful because he's a receiver, but he's 220, 225 pounds and is very comfortable lining up in the backfield and acting as a running back. So what do you cover him with? You can't cover him with a linebacker, obviously, but he runs like a running back. So he is a matchup nightmare and has been a big part of this offense these last couple weeks in creating some plays against Cincinnati.
2nd and 10 for Cincinnati. Quarterback keeper here, and Ritter able to get the first down and step out of play at the 33-yard line. A gain of 12 on the play for Ritter.
Yeah, and watch the end man on the line of scrimmage as you see Dorcius react to that mesh, and as soon as he chases the running back, that's a pull read for Desmond Ritter. On the zone read, excellent job by the quarterback bursting into the open field and making a play.
And Greg, that's where last week Memphis didn't have to deal with that from the quarterback position with Ben Bryant, the backup.
Ritter, long throw behind the intended receiver, Thomas Geddes. That is the end of the first here. A championship on the line. Cincinnati and Memphis have played one. It is 10-7 Tigers. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Here at the American Athletic Conference Championship game, it's 10-7. Memphis on top of Cincinnati.
Well, Greg, I've been impressed with Desmond Ritter's ability to throw the football. Now, you talk about the shoulder injury, and maybe his accuracy's not what you'd expect, but he's got arm power to drive the ball vertically. We saw that on the dropped ball.
Yeah, he's been pretty accurate. Hasn't been super consistent throughout the course of the day, but his receivers have not helped him out.
Coming up, that shoulder injury, getting the start. He hands it off here on 2nd and 2, and they're not going to get it. Going to have 3rd down. Well, you know who the biggest LSU fans are right now? Oklahoma Sooner fans. Because if LSU wins, that knocks Georgia out as Cincinnati on 3rd and 1. Great second effort by Jared Dokes. Picks up the 1st down for Cincinnati. But assuming Ohio State, even with a loss, gets in, right?
Yes.
So Clemson, if Clemson wins, they're in. If they lose, well, then we get a conversation. But right now, Oklahoma's rooting for LSU to win that game.
No question. I think the only way Oklahoma's kept out is if Georgia were to win. And that, of course, would put Georgia in, and LSU at 12-1. Their body of work against Oklahoma, so you got to side with the Tigers.
And Ridder keeping it here, gets the 1st down, and still going past the 30. And they finally get to him, and they force a fumble, and it's recovered at the 10-yard line. Memphis ball recovered by Leandre Thomas. Chris Claybrooks goes for the arm of Desmond Ridder here and hacks it out. Not only negating a big play for the Bearcats, but creating a turnover as Thomas comes up with the ball. And they packed the streets of Memphis. When College Game Day was here a month ago, Memphis beat SMU that day 54-48.
Huge play a second ago by Memphis's defense, and it's all because of the unbelievable hustle by Chris Claybrooks. He's at the backside corner. Ridder gets free, has a lot of open space, but look at the hustle by Claybrooks, turning on the Jets, stripping that football. That's why they tell you, kids, when you're carrying the football, keep it in your off arm, keep it in your wide arm, keep it close to the boundary, because that's where all those players are coming from the field. And Desmond Ridder learned the hard way there.
That was a 49-yard run, too, by Ridder. Here's Taylor getting the call. And he gets brought down after a gain of about 3. So Claybrooks returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown last week. So far in this game, 3 tackles and that forced fumble.
And with T.J. Carter sidelined, it's really important for Claybrooks to continue to step up on the defensive side of the football. It's been a great start of the game so far for number 7.
They'll run it again on 2nd down and 7, and nowhere to go for Patrick Taylor. Brought down by Brian Wright, who's a heck of a player. First team all-conference for Cincinnati. Graduate student from Newcastle, Delaware. So it's 3rd down and 7.
It was a great play there as he was engaged. He made the tackle in the backfield. You're on 3rd downs. Looking like you might get some one-on-one coverage to the top. Let's see if Brady White looks in the direction of Coxie.
He's 0 for 4 passing on 3rd down in the game. Facing some pressure here. Rolling out. Now throws. And he's short of the line to gain anyway, but it's incomplete. Intended for Taylor. And so Memphis will have to punt the football.
Right there, Brady White was trying to work Coxie to the top. A little in-breaking route, but the pressure up front forced him out of the pocket. A good job there by the defensive line and the linebackers for Cincinnati being able to create that rush and throw the quarterback out of rhythm.
What a great series on defense for Cincinnati. I mean, you talk about complimentary football.
Montgomery signaling for the fair catch and has it at the 45. Williams to punt. And it takes a Memphis hop and several more bounces inside the 20-yard line. A 55-yard punt. All right, so you guys haven't got one right all year.
That's
so
not accurate.
Let's see if you finally get one. Go ahead, say something. Just say a number. Throw it out.
I'll say
Boise and somebody.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm going to say Mountain West.
No, you guys are both wrong again. 2012, Stanford UCLA. Stanford swept the Bruins. This is the 4th time that this has happened now, with teams playing in the regular season finale then the very next week.
I love how Dave acts like he knows the answer.
Well, I do, but I also have it right in front of me, so that's why I know.
Exactly. Fraud.
Yeah, I love it.
Here's Ritter, and he's got a completion to Pierce, and a gain of 15 out to the 35-yard line for Pierce. So here are the four. Well, you guys mentioned Boise. They did play Fresno State a couple years ago. Fresno won the finale and then lost the rematch. And last year, Middle Tennessee UAB.
So we weren't that far off. The Mountain West was involved, and you made me feel dumb. Now I'm
you should
sensitive.
apologize to us.
Here's Warren, gets a big hole. Somersaults into Memphis territory. A 17-yard run and a first down. And Warren shaken up, and understandably after that hit by Thomas.
Yeah, this is a really nice job on the front side of the offensive line. Number 75, Chris Ferguson, the left guard, doing a good job of throwing the defender out of the club.
Got pinballed off 3 guys here after that initial hit from Thomas.
Yeah, and he kind of lands awkwardly. I hope he's okay. He's such a huge piece for the Cincinnati offense. We'll see whether or not Michael Warren's all right.
Cheez-It Snapped. So thin, so crispy, but we fear too snackable, which could be catastrophic for our cheese supply. We are genuinely concerned we may run out of cheese. Cheez-It Snapped.
Will Invisalign aligners really work for my smile?
Is there a better alternative to braces?
Only Invisalign aligners use Smart Track technology. It moves teeth more comfortably and predictably, and in many cases, it works faster than braces.
Well, Warren, you saw him jog off the field under his own power, and here's an end around to Tucker. Running room and a first down inside the 30-yard line. Penalty marker thrown at the line of scrimmage as Tucker is brought down inside the 30. Cincinnati looks like it's going to continue to kill itself with penalties.
Holding. Offense number 52. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's on the center, Jakari Robinson.
And this is just a dumb penalty here by Robinson. You're going to watch the center work all the way out and around. This is a really cool design, by the way. And, of course, when 21's in the game, antenna's got to be up. They hand it to him. And you're going to see the hold on the left side of your screen. Right here, Robinson's in a good position. I mean, he's fine. He's walling out the defender. And Tucker's going to make him right. There's no need to grab the jersey. Just get in the way and allow Tucker to run. That was a really dumb penalty there by the center.
Now it's 1st and 19. Dokes is in the game for Warren, who left with an injury, and a deep ball down the sideline, single coverage, and it's pulled in by Moj. What a catch inside the 25-yard line. Claybrooks was all over him. 31 yards.
It's a great job, hand fighting, a lot of contact. You see him secure it as he goes to the ground. The foot's definitely down, and Cincinnati's going to go tempo, so they don't have a chance to review it potentially, because it was really close over there on the sideline.
And Michael Warren is back in at running back for Cincinnati. Bearcats looking to retake the lead. 3 minutes to go. They have 2 timeouts left. And here's Warren getting the call off the left side. Ritter and Warren were basically running together for several yards downfield before he actually gave the ball up. Let's go back to the catch and see if he secured it. Doesn't matter now, obviously.
Ball is moving. It's really close.
And a quick throw out in space that's dropped again. 5 drops, this one by Medeiros. So they're making crazy catches like Moj did with the defender Claybrooks on it, but then they're dropping the easy ones. It's 3rd and 1 now for Cincinnati.
That's brutal. I mean, this is the biggest game of the year, obviously. Ritter's coming back from a shoulder injury, and his receivers got to help him out. Not been a team that's dropped a lot of passes all year, so this is really uncharacteristic for the Bearcats. Don't expect to run inside here on 3rd and short.
And Ritter keeps it. He's to the 10, breaks the tackle and scores. Touchdown Cincinnati. The Bearcats retake the lead. For a guy that runs as well as Ritter does, it's only his 2nd rushing touchdown this season. It pays off a 7-play, 80-yard, 2-minute drive with a 15-yard run. And Crosa on for the extra point, but a penalty marker down.
Full start. Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
That's on Leonard Taylor, so another penalty on Cincinnati. Sam Crosa has had 3 kicks blocked. Cincinnati has, as a team, I should say, 3 kicks blocked this year. So a 25-yard point after. And Crosa nails it. 14-10 Bearcats.
You gotta love that too. I got 6. So you get 6 bangs on the drum. That drum's had a tough year. I mean, that thing has taken a beating. If you look at how many times Cincinnati's been able to put a lot of points on the board.
Meanwhile, Tom the third ready for a nap. Not Luganville, the mascot, Tom the Tiger.
I'm right next to him. Look, it's my pal.
Here's Gibson. As we've seen tonight, very dangerous with the ball in his hands, but he runs out of real estate, knocked out a play at the 30. All right, Lucas, what do you got down there? Give us the latest.
Well, I got Tom the Tiger, number 3. He's a little worn out.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the handler over here, guys, literally stuck his hand inside the cage and petted him right on the nose, and Tom was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, you try that.
Should I do it?
You can pet him, but according to the glass, you're not allowed to tap on the glass.
I'm going to do it with my left hand.
Yeah. Shoulder throw, stays in bounds after the catch and lowers the shoulder on the defender. Out of bounds at the 39. A 28-yard pass play.
It's a beautiful route. Look at how he's able to turn around Gardner on the back shoulder. Gardner's got a lot of length, almost makes a play on it. There's a nice release initially and a good back shoulder throw, accurate throw from Brady White. Great run after catch.
73 yards receiving for Coxie, over 1,000 on the season. White gets hit, gets rid of the ball, and it's caught by Taylor. And they grab him, bring him down in the field of play, and Memphis will have to use that final timeout. Kobe Bryant did a good job there, hanging on to the leg of Taylor to make sure that he got him down. 25 seconds to go. Riley Patterson, who has made a 29-yard field goal today. Season long of 50, career long of 52. And we were watching him in warm-ups. He was making 53, 54-yarders with about 10 yards to spare. But he was kicking it the other way, although it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of wind.
I don't think distance would be the problem for him. Certainly has plenty of leg. So as a quarterback, you got to be reminding yourself constantly here as you get understand that the only thing I can't do is take a sack. Ball has to come out regardless of the circumstance.
Right, no timeouts. 2nd and 12 on the 40. We'll see if Cincinnati brings pressure. They rush 4. White still gets hit, and he does take a sack. It was Mike J. Sanders getting the sack. The clock is moving. I'm surprised Memphis isn't over the ball ready to spike it. It took the receivers forever to get back onside, and now they got to run a play. You can't spike it, can you? Well, he was able to get it snapped and spike it in time, but now you just have a Hail Mary with 2 seconds left.
Yeah, it can't happen. And that's as much on Kevin Johns and MIke Norvell, the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Obviously, Norvell handles the play calling. It's as much on them as it is their left tackle who gave up the sack, and on Brady White. They called a slow developing downfield route, knowing the one thing that would give them problems would be a sack. You got to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly in that case, and they opted to go with a slower developing drop back, and sure enough, Sanders drops White for a big loss, essentially ending any chance of stealing a field goal before half.
White unloads, and it's intercepted at the 5-yard line. Picked off by Hicks, who's running it back. He's got the 30. Hicks into Memphis territory. And they finally tackle him at the 25-yard line. That was almost a disaster. After the interception, White has to make the tackle as Hicks brought it back about 70 yards. So Memphis will get the football to start the second half, trying to avoid a third straight loss in the American Championship game. When we come back, Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to the American Athletic Conference Football Championship on ABC. The winner of this game has a great chance of going to the Cotton Bowl as the highest ranked group of 5 champion, and Cincinnati has the lead at the break 14-10. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville down on the field. Greg, if you are Memphis, you don't feel good, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, it could be a huge deficit, only down 4 here at halftime.
Yeah, the first thing they need to do is thank their lucky stars, because it could easily be 28-10 if Cincinnati didn't have the dropsies throughout the course of the first half of the football game. The other thing they have to do, they have to start stopping the run. Right now, they are allowing over 7 yards a carry and have given up a lot of big plays. So Memphis has to be better tackling and playing in space.
Memphis will get the ball to start the second half. And here is Gibson on the return. The special teams player of the year in the American, brought down at the 25. They're going to run it on first down to Gibson. And he's able to get the first down out across the 35-yard line. Fans and the Memphis sideline wanted a late hit on Brian Wright, but no penalty flag.
I'm good with this. I'm glad they didn't throw the flag. Of course, on that sideline, you're going to have some drama, but it didn't appear anything malicious there. I obviously don't think Wright knew where he was at on the field either, so good no call there by the officials.
On a 14-yard run. And on 1st and 10, they give it to Gibson again. He's wrapped up after a 1-yard gain by Elijah Ponder. Memphis' lone loss was at Temple. Cincinnati lost to Ohio State in September and then lost 8 days ago on this field. It's only the 4th time that the same teams that played in the regular season finale meet in the championship game the next week. On 2nd and 8, play action pass for White with a defender in his face. Throws a deep ball. It's caught inside the 30 by Coxie. Breaks a tackle. Can't keep his feet. Stumbles to the ground inside the 15. There is a penalty marker down back at the 45. 46-yard pass play if this stands.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 12. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Such a great job by Coxie there. A lot of contact between him and the Ahmad Gardner. He fights through that contact, gets on top, and a beautifully thrown football from Brady White, identifying the one-on-one. And White had his fair share of inaccuracies early in this game, but starts the second half on a high note.
Gibson inside the 10, and maybe a face mask. He's in. Touchdown. Memphis back in front.
After further review, the runner steps out of bounds with the ball in his possession at the 1/2-yard line. The ball there. The penalty for the face mask will be enforced half the distance to the goal to the 1/4-yard line. Automatic first down.
So again, they barely have to move the ball because of the penalty, and it'll be 1st and goal. Now, you never know, right? I mean, we saw in that Oklahoma-Baylor game a huge play made at the end of the half where it looked like Baylor was going to score a touchdown. Baylor had to settle for a field goal. Oklahoma wins the game in overtime. So maybe the fact that Gibson didn't get into the end zone here, can Cincinnati come up with a stop? It's 14-10. That's the score. And you get Dorcius in the game at fullback for Memphis. And they run behind him, and Taylor was brought down. Maybe even lost some yardage there. Good job up front by Cincinnati. There is Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator. So they did lose a little bit of yardage. It's 2nd and goal from the 1.
If I'm Memphis, this is the down I would throw it. It's 4-down territory either way at this spot. But if I'm going to throw it in one of those 4 downs, I like doing it on 2nd down.
They run again behind Dorcius. And Taylor didn't get in. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and goal from the 1.
Very similar play. A lot of flow. there off tackle.
Problem is, Greg, is now you kind of have to throw it, and the defense knows it.
I don't even think you necessarily have to here. I mean, you still have 2 downs to get it. You challenge your offensive line.
But if you get stuffed here, are you really going to try it again on 4th down, or you take the points?
I'm going for it. No doubt about it.
It is a pass play. White looking. Now takes off and is in. Touchdown!
Great job by Brady White making something out of nothing on the scramble. See that ball cross the plane as both knees are still in the air. It was well covered and defended by Cincinnati. They had a guy there to make the play. He just couldn't do it.
And Patterson makes it 17-14. Memphis back in front. Early 3rd quarter here in the American Championship. It's the quarterback, Brady White, deciding to run, fighting through contact and hitting Pater. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luganville in Memphis. Under the lights. Sun is down. Temperature in the mid-40s and dropping. Memphis leading Cincinnati. Championship at stake. Potential spot in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. You look at the last 2 BCS Bowl games they were in, 2009-2010. They have consecutive 11-win seasons. If Cincinnati wins today, it will be their first time since then that they've won 11 games in back-to-back years. On 1st down, they run Warren, and he is stuffed after minimal gain. Off on the tackle, here's Tom.
The guy's talking to Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell coming out of the locker room. I said, what's got to happen for you to overcome some of these self-inflicted wounds? He said, we're going to run it, then we're going to run it again, and then we're going to run it after that. And most notably, continuing to run the quarterback. Desmond Ridder has been the difference on offense for the Bearcats.
That's a good recipe. Memphis really struggling against the run in the 1st half and allowed a few big plays on the ground as well.
Long pass here that's caught by Pierce. He's out to the 30 into the 31. And one of the big takeaways that I got from that experience for Luke Fickell is how you put together a staff, because he didn't have a choice when that happened in 2011. Your staff is your staff. You're the interim head coach. And at that point, Luke was 38 years old. Now he's 8 years older and getting a chance to run his own program.
He's done a really good job putting an excellent staff together. Really great inroads in the state of Ohio, and done a tremendous job these last few years.
On 3rd and 4. Nice catch made by Pierce, and it looks like a 1st down. Austin Hall on the tackle. You wonder, we talked a lot today about MIke Norvell, who the report says yesterday from ESPN as we double checked to make sure he got the 1st down. Really hard to tell there, but I thought live he got it. Reports that MIke Norvell is going to take the Florida State job. What about Luke Fickell? Will he have an opportunity, maybe not after this season, but down the road, or perhaps after the season, to get another opportunity at a Power 5 job?
I think he'll definitely be under consideration, but it would take an awful lot to leave. I mean, clearly, Cincinnati, wonderful place to live, and with his familiarity with the state of Ohio, is a great fit.
Ridder, he's got some running room, and he's past the 40 and out of bounds. Got the 1st down at the 46-yard line, an 11-yard run for Ridder.
I tell you, Greg, Memphis just doesn't have an answer for him, whether it's by design, making sure they've got somebody to account for him late once he leaves the pocket. He's just making too many plays, and Memphis has no answers.
Yeah, and you see the defensive coordinator, Adam Fuller, for Memphis right there, the left side.
Ridder makes one nice move in the backfield and gets positive yardage into Memphis territory. Gain of 6 on the play for Desmond Ridder. Started this week after missing the game against Memphis last week with a shoulder injury.
So crafty. He's not really a burner, but he's so quick and has kind of effortless lateral agility, making guys miss and creating opportunities for himself after contact.
So backup defensive tackle Morris Joseph leaving the field for Memphis. 2nd down and 5. Direct snap. Warren able to make a guy miss in the hole and get the first down inside the 40-yard line. Second straight year that Mike Warren has had a 1,000-yard season. Got a rushing touchdown today. 13 on the year.
That's a really nice run right here. See him set up the defenders to the outside with just a little bit of wiggle, just to make you think that he's going to go out. Then he cuts it up behind his tight ends on the left-hand side and LaBelle. And Michael Warren's been excellent throughout the course of the season, having another nice game tonight.
On the 6 yards at pop. Memphis stacking the box again.
Here comes pressure. Look, one-on-one potentially on a fade route or a vertical route.
That's work today, and here it is going downfield to Moj, and he makes another great catch inside the 10. They've done that twice, and MIke Moj, a junior from Atlanta, big target at 6'5", comes down with it.
And he's working against the 5'10 Jacoby Francis in press coverage, and look at the height advantage. Francis doesn't locate the football. He turns around, and the ball's over his shoulder.
Warren picked up and able to break a tackle. Warren down to the 2. Great run by Warren. It'll be 2nd and goal for Cincinnati.
They're starting to put the pedal down a little bit too. Expect the exact same play right inside. Vertical run game.
And Warren down to the goal line. They haven't signaled yet whether he's in. It's a touchdown. Michael Warren into the end zone for the 2nd time today. Great response by Cincinnati after Memphis scored and retook the lead. The Bearcats back in front.
We'll see whether or not Warren got in here. Very close, congested. It's too difficult to tell where he's at that point.
I'm standing on the back end line, guys. He clearly got in and landed with the ball in the end zone.
Desmond Ridder made some really nice plays again, running the ball himself on that drive. Sam Crosa on for the extra point. Puts it between the uprights, and Cincinnati leads Memphis 21-17. Brady White's turn next for Memphis. 3rd consecutive trip to the American Conference Championship game for Memphis. Each of the last 2 years losing to UCF in double overtime 2 years ago, and then last year they led in both those games. Led by 17 last year, lost by 15. Been bowl eligible for 6 consecutive years, haven't won a bowl game since 2015. And could this be MIke Norvell's last game as the Memphis head coach? Reports that he is the leading candidate to take over at Florida State. That could be announced tomorrow. He told us yesterday it would have to be a special job for him to leave. So we'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. 3rd down and 11. White fires, complete. Coxie, the defender fell down, and Coxie is out to the 46-yard line. Gain of 22.
And Mott Gardner's had a tough time containing Coxie. What a nice route. See Coxie set up into the defender, get a little movement. Gardner falls down. He creates a big opportunity.
On 3rd and 11, they're able to pick that up. White throws again. It's tipped in the air and incomplete. Perry Young got a piece of the ball. Another deflection by the Cincinnati defense. There have been several of those. They just haven't been able to come down, though, with an interception.
Well, Greg, and that's one of the reasons we talked about with Brady White's release. When you have that drawback and you're just kind of slinging it 3/4 and it's long, you can negate your height and subject yourself to some batted balls.
Yeah, as you take a look at Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, very, very impressed with this plan so far and done a pretty good job against an explosive offense.
They go back to the ground here on 2nd and 10, and Gainwell is out to midfield. Yeah, Freeman was really impressive when we met with him yesterday. You wonder if he's got a future as a head coach. Still a young guy. He's only been doing this for a short period of time, but really smart.
I got that sense from him. He just has a presence to him that maybe isn't a huge name yet in coaching circles, but it's growing. You got to think that he's going to be a candidate at some point to run his own program because he is an impressive guy.
Look at the numbers for Brady White on 3rd down passing. 1 of 8. Here he is on 3rd down and 5, and he completes it inside the 35-yard line. It is a 1st down to the 32 for Kadarian Jones. Really the first time we've called his number today. 35th catch on the year.
This is a really nice job. They have a mesh route underneath to to account for man coverage, but that big in-breaking route is designed to beat zone coverage. That time Cincinnati opts to play zone, and Brady White exploits it with the in route.
Gainwell on the carry, wrapped up and spun down for a loss by Derek Forrest. But let's go back to Brady White, give him some credit. Remember, he was 0 for passing on 3rd down, and the last 2 3rd down and longs, he's completed passes to extend this drive.
Definitely looks more comfortable here in the second half. Didn't really look very in control. The accuracy was a little up and down in the first 30 minutes, but he is honed in here in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
White off play action being chased and completes it to Taylor, and another huge hit. This time Perry Young with the lick on Taylor. So no gain. They will be in 3rd and long again. This hasn't phased Memphis on this drive yet. And are they in field goal range? Riley Patterson can certainly make it from here. It's about a 52-yarder.
Last time they got in this setting, of course, picking up the first down is huge, but you absolutely can't take a sack. It'll take you out of field goal range. You got to be mindful of how long you're holding the ball to allow the play to develop.
White throws underneath, and it was behind Taylor. So you're looking at about a 52-yarder here.
I like the idea there by White. We have a field goal. At least we have an attempt at a field goal here. I can't sit back here and hold it to allow my downfield routes to develop. That pass rush and that pressure that Cincinnati's bringing is something that could take points off the board. So it was a good job by him getting the ball out of his hands. Just wishes he probably was a little more accurate to give the receiver a chance.
And you talked about that sack at the end of the half that took him out of field goal range. Maybe thinking about that on that play too. 52-yard attempt. Patterson, that thing has plenty of leg, and it is good. He crushed that thing. He was smoking it in pregame, and he made that 52-yarder look like a 22-yarder the way he hit that ball. And Memphis is back within 1 point. Riley Patterson tying a career long with a 52-yarder. Would have been good from 62. Welcome back to the American Athletic Conference Football Championship as part of the Dr. Pepper Championship Week. We were saying earlier that could this be the last game for MIke Norvell as the Memphis head coach? Well, Florida State just released a statement that tomorrow at noon they're going to hold a press conference and introduce the next head coach. They did not say who that head coach is, but ESPN reported yesterday that it's going to be MIke Norvell. Memphis down 1. And on the kick return, it is Tucker past the 25 and out to about the 28-yard line.
I think if, in fact, he is named the head coach of Florida State, what an incredibly great hire for Florida State to try to resurrect that program and get it back.
38 years old, young guy still, was at Arizona State for a few years as offensive coordinator. And Ritter throwing a deep ball here. It's underthrown, and it's picked off by Clay Brooks at the 37-yard line. First interception for Clay Brooks this season. Trey Tucker was the intended receiver.
Trey Tucker has a ton of speed, but he's not very big. He's trying to fight for Clay Brooks as Clay Brooks goes vertical, but at only 167 pounds, he wasn't able to move the big-bodied corner who's north of 180. As Clay Brooks does a good job of walling him off and going up and making a play on the ball. What a great play by the corner. Now forced 2 turnovers after the fumble he forced earlier.
To the air here, White flushed out of the pocket and throws it downfield, incomplete, going for Gibson.
You know, on that last play too, Greg, I don't know if it was Ritter's torso or his arm that got hit, because the ball did not come out clean and immediately lost power, and it turned it into a 50-50 ball, which you don't like in that situation.
No, you definitely don't like a 50-50 ball with a guy that's around 5'9" either.
Right.
So really difficult throw right there. It was late and long. I wonder if his shoulder pain might have something to do with that ball fluttering a bit.
White with a clean pocket, and it's a shovel pass and a beautiful move by Gainwell past the 45 and gets the first down. Made a couple of nice moves there. Kenny Gainwell, the Rookie of the Year in the American Conference.
Oh my goodness, this is an unbelievable move in a phone booth. I mean, look at this. Right there, lined up with the linebacker, Brian Wright, 2 yards away from him. He can't even touch him. Here's Gibson right here. That's what's so difficult. You have Gainwell to the right, Gibson left. Both can run it on the perimeter.
Gibson's listed as a wide receiver, but they use him as both. They fake it to him here, and a shot to the sideline. It's caught by Coxie. He gets tag team out of play by Forrest and Gardner.
Well, and Greg, that's the challenge for defenses, right? You've got Gibson and Barnwell in the backfield at the same time. So what if one of those guys motions out? Who do you identify if it's 14? Do you put a linebacker on him? Do you put a safety on him? What if you're not nickel? So many mismatch problems for Cincinnati with those two.
They got 6 yards on the pass play in the last down. Now they're going to run it here, and Gibson has a first down inside the 30-yard line.
They've run that play about 7 or 8 times now. I mean, almost every carry that Gibson has, I feel like it's on that play or something similar where they're in offset back and they're in split. They haven't really found an answer for that look just yet. And now here's Gibson split out at slot. That's what's so difficult to defend. He can play running back and receiver and does both extremely well.
And first down, back to the ground game, and Cincinnati all over that. Gainwell stuffed. First guy there was MIke Sanders, defensive end for Cincy. Inside a minute to go now in the third quarter. Memphis wins. It will be a 12-win season for the first time in school history. A Cincinnati win would give them back-to-back 11-win seasons. And a great chance.
Here's that look again, too. I mean, keep an eye on Gibson and see if they hand it to him.
Instead, he motioned out of the backfield. Taylor is grabbed in the backfield by Brian Wright and thrown down for a loss at the 35-yard line. It's a setback of almost 7 yards.
Yeah, and watch him. He's just going to fly right through the A gap on the left-hand side. And because of those pressures, or because of the pullers, excuse me, with the guard and tackle leaving, there's nobody home and they can't get to him. So a good job by Wright there in the backfield.
They spot him at the 32, and Memphis is in field goal range. Third quarter comes to an end. Memphis will have third and long when we come back. Cincy by 1. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We welcome you back to the American Athletic Conference Football Championship as part of the Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Cincinnati leads Memphis by 1 as we start the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, 3rd and 14 for Memphis. They made a 52-yard field goal try in the last possession to be about a 50-yarder from here. Brady White from the pocket, moves to his left and throws it downfield into traffic. Coming back to try to make the catch was Coxie, but it's incomplete.
Really close. Obviously, Brady White's arm got hit as he was trying to release the football. Coxie working in one-on-one there. As you see that right hand get hit as he released the football.
Patterson looking to give Memphis the lead back. A 50-yard try. Already made a 52-yarder. Man, he is absolutely crushing the football. He drills another one, and Memphis is back on top. The Memphis Tigers back on top here, 23-21. There's Desmond Ritter, the Cincinnati quarterback, as they're body surfing on the Memphis sideline. 14:47 to go here in the championship. We're being told that the replay booth is saying he didn't have full possession of the ball until he was in the end zone. Therefore, that's why they called it a touchback. Here's Warren off the right edge. And he's knocked down at the original line of scrimmage at 25, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Michael Warren here. Seconds start to tick off the clock. Obviously, time not a factor at all, but as we start to get late in this ball game, legs start to get a little tired, arms start to get a little tired, and running the football becomes your friend, especially when you have a powerful back like Michael Warren.
A downfield throw that's on the money. A first down catch for Pierce. Great pass by Desmond Ridder, who missed the game last week because of an injury to his throwing shoulder. Put it on the money that time.
Beautiful throw. I mean, that is an incredible throw. NFL type of throw. Cover two. The corner's responsible for the flat. The safety's off over the top, and you're all the way, and you got to throw it that far. Beat the safety with the ball. That was a beautiful throw, bouncing back by Desmond Ridder after he was a little inaccurate on his last attempt.
29-yard pass play. They run Warren straight ahead, and he gets good yardage, 6 or 7. Also, the guy that made the catch, Alec Pierce, he's been the guy that Ridder has targeted more than anybody today, other than Moj on some of those deep balls. But Pierce, his dad, played college football at Northwestern. He's got a brother who is a basketball player, North Carolina. Pierce, a sophomore from just outside Chicago.
A favorable run look from Memphis's defense. Let's see if they hand it to Warren here.
Gonna throw it here, and the pass is wide, but what a catch by Medeiros. That was an incredible grab. And again, they've had a lot of drops today, but that was beautiful.
My goodness, that was a beauty.
How do you make that look easy and have the other drops?
We've seen some really easy catches. That one was not. Unbelievable catch by Medeiros.
He's short, so it's 3rd down.
4-down territory if you're Cincinnati. The offensive line has played well today. You got a powerful back. We expect 2 downs to get it here on the ground.
Here's Warren, and he's able to get the 1st down, muscling his way down to the 35-yard line. Gonzalez on the stop. We're at 8.5 minutes to go. Each team with 3 timeouts remaining. Total yards pretty much even. Score almost even. Memphis by 2.
This would be a spot on the field where I might think to take a shot downfield. But with the way they've been running it, looks like Wildcat is going to be the answer. You would expect them to keep it on the ground.
Runs behind those 2 tight ends and gets the corner. Driven to the ground at the 22-yard line. And so gain of about 3 on the play. We're nearing 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Memphis leading by 2. A championship at stake. A possible spot in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. The New Year's 6 bowl game on the line as well.
Gotta think Cincinnati is just going to continue to try to pound the football. Here it is again. Wildcat. You know what you're getting. It's been pretty effective.
Just Michael Warren straight ahead running the ball. He's inside the 20. And brought down at about the 18-yard line again by Sanchez Blake. So you're looking at 3rd and 3.
Tell you what, Greg, where those tight ends go, the ball is going. Something to keep an eye on here if they choose to keep it on the ground.
They just took Warren out of the game. They're bringing Jared Dokes in.
Yep.
Dokes is certainly capable.
And so is Ridder.
Absolutely. Might be a situation, too, where you sneak DeGuara out. Maybe get Ridder on the move, get DeGuara on the move. Maybe sneak him out into the flat off a run.
On 3rd and 3, they hand it off to Dokes, and he did not get it. It is 4th down. So if you're Luke Fickell, are you going for it, or are you taking the points, which would give you the lead?
And you're running the ball so well. I mean, there's been very little disruption for the most part from Memphis's defensive line all game long. Decided to kick it after the 4th and 1. Little deliberation. I might go with a hard count here. If I'm Cincinnati, maybe you can draw Memphis off sides and get a 1st down by way of penalty.
Now Memphis has blocked 4 kicks this year. Cross has had 3 blocked himself, but he drills this one from 33 yards out, and Cincinnati retakes the lead with 4:23 to go. Bearcats by 1 with a championship and a potential spot in a New Year's 6 game at stake. Who will win the American Championship? Will it be Luke Fickell's Bearcats or MIke Norvell's Tigers, and what could be Norvell's last game as the Memphis head coach? Florida State has a press conference at noon tomorrow to introduce the head coach. The Seminoles did not announce who that is. ESPN reported yesterday that it's going to be MIke Norvell. And the winner of this game likely to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, a touchback that'll come out to the 25 from Memphis. Tigers have all their timeouts, and they've got a kicker in Riley Patterson that's made a 50-yarder and a 52-yarder in this ball game. They got to get to about the 35-yard line of Cincinnati. And they're going to throw it over the middle. It's a catch for Gibson. And out to the 39, 14 yards. Here's Cassidy.
Dave, coming up next on ABC, Virginia and Clemson in the ACC Championship Game. That's coming your way 7:30 Eastern, again on ABC or the ESPN app. Guys.
Clemson looking to secure a spot in the college football playoff for the win as Memphis runs Taylor here, and he fumbled the ball at the 42-yard line. And an offensive lineman for Memphis got it back. Scotty Dill, the right tackle, comes up with it.
And fighting for extra yardage. That ball just gets ripped away by Brian Wright, number 11. Scotty Dill, right place, right time. Able to hop on it after what was a pretty chaotic moment there at the bottom of the pile.
Empty set as Gainwell motions out of the backfield on 2nd and 7. White is looking for Gainwell, and a back shoulder throw that's caught inside the 35-yard line. Great toss by Brady White to his running back.
And that's a great job taking advantage of one-on-one against a safety. That's Derek Forrest, who is charged with having to cover Gainwell, who's so explosive. Hasn't done much today, but made his presence felt there on the deep ball.
They get 25 yards through the air, come back and run Gainwell inside the 30. Gainwell, such a good receiver. Again, he had a game earlier this year, over 200 receiving yards and 100 rushing yards. The first player in college football to do that since 1997.
So versatile, man. So versatile and so difficult to defend. And when you line him up in the backfield alongside Gibson to the left of Brady White, it's a lot to accommodate for.
And they hand it off to Gibson here, trying to get the edge. And he steps out of bounds after he got the first down, though, at the 20-yard line. 2:39 to go. Gibson saying, give it to me again. Keep feeding me.
And that time a nice block by Barnwell. Opposite of him to get him to turn the corner. Really well done in the backfield. Barnwell's not very big. He stuck his nose in there.
This formation has been brutal for Cincinnati's defense because you can hand it running to the left with Gainwell, or you can hand it to the right with Gibson. Really difficult to defend.
Memphis going to keep it on the ground here as Gibson gets pushed out of bounds by Derek Forrest.
If I'm Memphis, just continuing to get into that two-back look with Gainwell on one side and Antonio Gibson on the other. It's exactly what it looks like they're going to do, because so far today, Cincinnati has had a really difficult time handling this look, knowing the options that you have out of it.
And they run it. Gibson inside the 15-yard line. It's a first down and goal. A first down and goal for Memphis. And if you're Cincinnati, at what point do you start using timeouts? Because once they get rid of the chains here, they're going to wind the clock. You've got 2 timeouts left if you're Cincinnati. Do you use them?
Not yet. Still plenty of time for Cincinnati. Obviously, it's going to become an issue here very quickly.
Because Memphis is just going to bleed the play clock here.
You only have 2, though, anyways. So we're going to call timeout after 2nd down, potentially 3rd. And they're handling this the right way at this point.
And Gibson brought down after a 1-yard gain, and Luke Fickell will use the timeout.
There you go.
Minute 26 to go. 2nd and goal. Cincinnati with 1 timeout left. And they will go with Gainwell and Gibson again in the backfield. A championship potential spot in a New Year's Six bowl at stake. Here's Gibson trying to get the edge. And he stays in bounds as he's knocked down by Forrest, and Cincinnati will use its final timeout. So you got 3rd and goal. If you run the ball and you don't get in the end zone, you can take the clock down to about 30 seconds before you try a field goal. If you throw the ball and it's incomplete, you're kicking a field goal and the clock stopped, and Cincinnati's going to have maybe a minute to work with. You've also got a head coach in MIke Norvell that might be coaching his last game, with the reports that he's the leading candidate to get the Florida State job. Does he go down swinging here and throw the ball and try to get the touchdown here through the air and trust his quarterback Brady White? He is going to throw it out in space to Gibson, who's into the end zone for the Memphis go-ahead touchdown. Memphis will go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point game. Cincinnati will have 1:14 on the clock, but no timeouts when it gets the ball. Well, they did throw it, but it was high percentage.
Yeah, it was essentially an extended handoff. Just get Gibson on the perimeter. That was a well-designed play. Very low risk. Get it to your best playmaker in space. And Gibson does the rest. What a game from that young man.
Going for 2 here.
It's the rollout to the right.
There it is. White being chased, throws, and it's knocked down, incomplete. Good play by Hicks to break up the pass intended for Jones. It's a 5-point Memphis lead with 1:14 on the clock.
And here's another look at the touchdown. This is no different than running the exact same plays they've run all night. You're handing it to him out of the backfield, but in this particular case, it's a nice, easy throw behind the line of scrimmage. Almost nothing can go wrong on a play like that. And you get one-on-one with Gibson against the defender.
See what happens here on the kickoff. Trey Tucker and Ryan Montgomery are deep, and Riley Patterson, who certainly has a powerful enough leg to kick this into the end zone. If you're Cincinnati, you got to imagine they're just going to take the touchback. So nothing comes off the clock. 1:14 to go.
Biggest thing here for Ritter, get the drive started. Have to have a positive play on first down.
Little pressure from Memphis. Ritter's pass is caught over the middle at the 40, and Pierce is into Memphis territory. So on the first play, they take it all the way to the 45 for 30 yards. The clock will stop to reset the chains.
So plenty of time. No need to panic. Under control through the quarterback. 1-on-1 up top.
Pressure again. Ritter down the sideline. Out of bounds. Going for Pierce. Clay Brooks in coverage.
That was a good job there by Ritter, recognizing in a tempo situation that Memphis was going to bring pressure, and he had a one-on-one at the top of the screen against press coverage.
And that incompletion doesn't kill you, Greg, because at least slows things down and stops the clock.
It's no different than spiking the football, essentially. You take a shot instead of spiking it, but it gives you a chance.
Ritter on 2nd and 10. Long throw, and it's caught by Medeiros, but out of bounds, so incomplete. It is 3rd down and 10.
Let's see if Medeiros caught it. Yeah, you see that ball. As soon as he gets possession, that left foot is already out of bounds. See this situation for Cincinnati. No Josiah DeGuara on the field. As he subs on late, now he comes in. He's in the slot at the top. The excellent tight end. I'll be looking in his direction.
He's been quiet today, and Memphis has done a good job on him. Let's see if Cincinnati can find him. The Tigers bring pressure, and the quarterback is hit. Ritter throws it deep, and it's caught near the 20. Medeiros pulls it in. Again, the clock will stop to move the chains. 46 seconds to go. Once the ball is down and the chains are set, they restart the clock. And they're going to spike it. No timeouts left. 2nd and 10. Ball on the 21 of Memphis.
It's a beautiful throw by Desmond Ridder. Pressure again. He knows he has man coverage. He's got to beat the extra defender as they bring the all-out pressure, and a perfect throw against that defense is that corner route, that smash route. Working against inside leverage, and a beautiful catch by Medeiros laying out.
Were you surprised at all that they spiked the ball in that situation and wasted it down?
No, the time is more important than the downs at this point. Saving those precious seconds is huge.
Yep. 2nd and 10. Pressure again by Memphis. Ridder just gets rid of the ball. Was he outside the pocket that time? It'll be 3rd and 10, 39 seconds to go.
Last couple downs from Memphis defensively have been all-out pressure. Cover 0, which means there's one extra defender blitzing that Cincinnati cannot block.
Ridder is hit, able to break a tackle, and then throws it out of bounds. It was Bryce Huff that had pressure. It is 4th and 15. They have to get to the 11-yard line to keep this drive alive and keep the game going.
He's going to have man coverage one-on-one again.
Ridder on 4th and 15. Lobs it for DeGuara, incomplete. There's a penalty flag down, though. A flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Holding offense number 51. Penalty is declined. Ball goes over on downs, first down.
Memphis ball, and the championship will belong to the Tigers. Seconds away from the first 12-win season in program history, in what could be Mike Norvell's final game as the Tigers head coach. Cincinnati cannot stop the clock, so all Memphis has to do is snap the ball, take a knee, and the game is over.
What a great game. Incredible heart on display by both teams. There's only 10 guys on the field for victory formation.
White takes a knee. That's it. The Memphis Tigers, twice in 8 days, beat the Cincinnati Bearcats and win the American. And will it be a farewell to Memphis for Mike Norvell? Thomas standing by with Coach.
Well, Coach, maybe that wasn't quite the way you drew it up throughout the week, but describe this feeling and the performance of your team tonight.
It's so incredible. I mean, all year long, we've been a team that's had to respond in the face of adversity, and they did it once again tonight. So proud of this, just the heart of these guys. I mean, unbelievable character. Just really proud of this football team.
Coach, I can see you're emotional. Obviously, in terms of your future, over the last 24 hours, reports have surfaced that indicate you will be the leading candidate at Florida State. What can you share with us on that decision?
And this day is about them, man. We got an unbelievable football team, coaches, everybody involved. I mean, to be able to come here tonight and to find a way to win that game, just is such a special opportunity.
What type of time frame do you have on that decision?
You know, guys, all I'm focused about is this, man. I'm gonna go celebrate with my guys. It was an incredible night. You know, obviously we're just so fired up for this program, this city, and everything we've been able to accomplish.
Well earned. Go enjoy it.
Thanks so much.
Florida State will have a press conference at noon tomorrow to introduce its head coach. Will it be Mike Norvell? Clearly didn't want to answer the question there. The Tigers are champions of the American Conference and more than likely going to the Cotton Bowl. A 29-24 win over Cincinnati. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill, our entire outstanding ABC crew, I'm Dave Pash. Congrats to the Memphis Tigers. Now we send you to Kevin Agandi in the studio. Time now for the post-game trophy handed out to the Memphis Tigers.
Here to present the 2019 American Football Championship Trophy, the Commissioner of the American, MIke Norvell.
Cincinnati. Championship trophy. I want to congratulate, and I'd like a round of applause for the Cincinnati Bearcats and Luke Fickell on a great season, and they were a game team. This was a game for the ages. I want to congratulate the Memphis Tigers and MIke Norvell on the championship.
Down 14-10 at the half. Why was your team able to pull through in the end?
It's the heart and character that this team has throughout this year. It's just so special. And this has been a team that's had to respond to a lot of adversity. They've had to overcome a lot. And once again, we talked about it at halftime. We just had to be true to ourselves, go out there and play Memphis Tiger football. And I believe that this team would find a way to be victorious. And to the city of Memphis, that was for you, baby.
American Conference champs, heading to the Cotton Bowl. What has been the most special part about this journey?
Just the young men that I get to coach, and the work that they put in each and every day. It's a special group, and they've like I said, they've come in, they believed in what we're doing here. We've been able to continue to progress our program. We represent an unbelievable university and an incredible city, and we're just so honored to be able to represent them in a first-class fashion. And now we are American Conference champions.
Undefeated at home this season here in the Liberty Bowl, 7-0. How much has this fan base been a part of that?
It's everything, and we talk about that all the time. You understand who you represent, the Tiger Nation, all of the city of Memphis coming out and supporting us. This has been a special season. One of the greatest football teams in the University of Memphis history, and we're looking forward to going to Dallas to the Cotton Bowl, baby.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. Thank you for attending the American Football Championship Game. Drive home safely.